Have you ever stopped to think about what happens when the machines we build start doing the jobs that, well, we can't, or maybe just don't want to anymore? This isn't some far-off sci-fi movie plot. It's a massive economic shift, and believe me, it is happening a whole lot sooner than you might think. Let's get into it.
Seriously, this isn't a trick question. It's a problem that entire economies are wrestling with right this second. You've got aging populations, workforces that are shrinking, and pretty soon you start to see these critical gaps open up. And they're showing up in the exact places we can least afford them.
You can really see the pressure building in three main areas. We're talking about major shortages in healthcare, the people keeping us and our families safe. In logistics, the whole system that gets essential goods to our homes. And of course, in manufacturing, the places that build the very infrastructure of our lives. These aren't problems for our kids to solve. They are today's crises.
Okay, so you're faced with a problem on a global scale. What do? Well, one of the most ambitious answers out there right now is something called the Humanoid Network, or HAND for short. It's a project designed specifically to tackle this labor crisis head-on.
Now, the words they use here are really important. This isn't just about building a few cool robots. It's about creating a decentralized robotic workforce. Auditable means every single thing a robot does can be tracked. Tradable means this labor can be bought and sold on an open market. And the entire thing is built on a brand new idea that connects the physical world to the digital one, proof of physical work.
And you should know, this is not just some idea on a whiteboard. This project is moving, and it's moving fast. It was founded in 2025, and it completed its seed funding round in October of that same year. The next huge milestone? That's the planned distribution of its HAND token, which is scheduled for the first quarter of 2026.
So, to really get how the humanoid network works, it helps to think of it as having two different but totally connected parts. The easiest way to picture it is to think of it as the brains and the brawn of the whole operation.
This two-layer system is basically the engine of the entire network. On one side, you've got the digital network. That's the brains. It's a hub where all the smart people from companies and universities can work together to push robotics and AI forward. On the other side, you have the physical network, the brawn. This is the actual global workforce of robots that are ready to be hired for real jobs. The brains make the brawn smarter, and the brawn sends real-world data back to the brains. It creates this incredibly powerful feedback loop.
But hold on. Connecting a physical world of actual work to a digital economy? That requires a massive innovation, right? For the humanoid network, that game-changing idea is called proof of physical work.
So if you're into crypto, you've definitely heard of proof of work. That's just computers solving digital puzzles. Proof of physical work, or POP-PW, takes that same idea and brings it into the real world. Think of it like a digital notary for physical jobs. It's a way for the blockchain to prove that a robot actually did something tangible, creating a totally secure and trustworthy market for that robot's labor. Honestly, this is the breakthrough that makes the whole thing possible.
So how does this actually play out? Let's do a quick walkthrough. First, a robot does a job. Let's say it moves some medical supplies. Second, sensor data from the robot plus agreement from others in the network verifies the job is done. Third, that completed task gets locked in forever on the blockchain. And finally, that permanent record automatically triggers the payment in HAND tokens. It's completely automated, totally verifiable, and transparent from start to finish.
Look, when you create a totally new way to buy and sell labor, you're not just building a product, you're creating a whole new kind of economy. And the potential size of this humanoid economy is just, well, it's staggering.
Just take a look at these numbers. By 2035, the market for humanoid robots is projected to be worth somewhere between $38 billion on the low end and a mind-blowing $243 billion on the high end. And what's fueling this explosion? It's that urgent need we talked about at the beginning, robots filling jobs in warehouses, helping in elder care, and handling all those repetitive manufacturing tasks. This is not a niche little market. This is projected to be a massive part of the future global economy.
Now, to get an economy like this off the ground, you need people. You need developers, you need users, you need operators. And that brings us to the HAND token airdrop. It's a strategy designed to build a big active community right from day one.
So here's the deal. Early users can earn points just by participating in the network and, referring other people. Then, those points will get converted into HAND tokens during the big distribution event planned for early 2026. The main thing to get here is that this isn't just some random giveaway. It's a really smart move to jumpstart the network by rewarding the very first people who help it grow.
Think about it. An economy built on billions of tiny robotic tasks and micropayments. The technology underneath it all has to be ridiculously fast and super cheap. You can't have a robot waiting around for a payment to clear. That's exactly why the Humanoid Network is built on the Solana blockchain. It was designed from the ground up for the kind of high-speed, low-cost transactions that a global robot workforce is going to need.
Obviously, building a workforce of autonomous robots brings up some pretty big questions. We're moving beyond just economics here and into things like ethics, privacy, and, how do we govern these new participants in our society? The project actually tries to tackle these concerns right in its design. Governance is decentralized through a system they call artificial democracy, which basically gives the community a real say in the rules. The blockchain gives us that transparent, unchangeable history of every action, which creates accountability. And for privacy, they use a technique called federated learning, which trains the AI locally on each robot. That means sensitive data, like from a hospital, never has to leave the building.
This quote, I think, really cuts to the heart of the long-term goal here. It's not just about building efficient machines. The ultimate vision is to create humane robotics. Robots that can actually understand social context and moral cues, so they can integrate safely and effectively into our world.
And all of this leaves us with one last pretty profound question. By creating an autonomous, intelligent, and economically independent network of robots, are we just building a better workforce? Or are we laying the groundwork for something else entirely? That's definitely something to think about.